Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the TLC Podcast. I'm your host, Eric, joined as always by my co host, Mike. Mike, I don't know about you, but I am juiced up for tonight's episode.
What of Impact?
Well, I mean, for our show.
Just our episode.
Yeah.
No, it's a lot to talk about.
I mean, first off, I don't care if you're one of those that like exclusively WWE guys or exclusive AEW guys. Like, if you're really a fan of this business, like, you have to appreciate when any company does well.
Right.
And AEW put 81,000 people into Wembley Stadium.
That they did.
I mean, look, it's not the largest crowd in the history of wrestling. Like, it's just not. Like,
No.
I mean, we've watched wrestling before. We saw WrestleMania 3, we saw WrestleMania 32, which each drew bigger numbers. I don't know if it's exactly the numbers that were each reported at those shows.
Correct, yes.
But I would agree they're probably more than 81,000.
Right.
Like, I don't think WWE fudged the numbers to say they were 20,000 more than they had at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I don't see him fudging 20,000.
Like,
and
maybe 5? Like,
maybe.
Yeah.
And another thing.
Yeah.
AEW could very well fudge numbers too.
Sure.
That you don't know about. I mean, no one's a saint in the wrestling business.
No.
You know by now.
Now, I wonder if they'd go with, well, WWE calls themselves sports entertainment, and so this was the largest wrestling show, because they call it a wrestling show.
Even then, it's still not the largest.
Nope.
No. Even if you go by non-WWE shows, Collision in Korea was large.
Yes, you're right.
And I pointed that out on Sunday.
Yes, so there are 3 other shows that drew larger numbers, but that's not to take away from what was an absolutely wonderful, successful weekend for AEW.
Exactly.
So let's jump right into it. Let's do our results we were tallying live as we went because for the first time we got to sit there and watch a show together, which
we did.
Thank you so much for having me over.
Anytime.
It was great being there, great watching the show.
Yeah. We'll have to do it again next year.
Hanging out with the family.
Yeah, we'll do it next year for All In.
Absolutely, we definitely will. We'll do it again before then, but
right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was a fantastic time. Thank you so much for hosting. Thank you.
Anytime.
Yeah, it was wonderful. Yeah. So let's jump right into it. The results of our head-to-head. Maybe I'm just saying let's jump all into it because I had myself a good night.
You did, yes. You're up 4 points, 56 to 52.
Yeah.
You did well with the Acclaimed and Saraya.
Yeah.
And then there's another match you got on me. But then me picking the main event with the extra point helped out a lot. Because I had MJF. Yeah. So.
Yeah, because you had MJF, I had Adam Cole.
Right.
Yeah.
It would have been a blowout if Adam Cole would have won.
And part of me was kind of thinking as the night was going on, like, and this is going to sound like kind of a jerk thing to say, but I was like, man, I don't want to get up too big because I still want it to be where it's a neck-and-neck race.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I think it will.
It will be.
Now, All Out, it's interesting that this coming Sunday is All Out. I still think they should have done maybe a couple of weeks before the 2 shows.
They should have, yeah, because we have Payback Saturday.
Yeah.
All Out on Sunday.
Yeah, which I will watch Payback on Saturday. All Out, I'll probably not watch because it's Sunday night and it won't be over until midnight.
And someone's got to go to work early.
Yep. Somebody's got to be a big crybaby and go to work the next day. And I was telling somebody who worked that the other day. I was just like, oh man, like I would love to stay up and watch one of these wrestling shows on a Sunday night. And I said, especially the AEW shows. And the guy's probably 70 something years old. He's just like, Just do it. He's like, just stop watching. I'm just like, yeah, but I got to work the next day. He's like, so get up and come to work.
Yeah.
He's like, Eric, he's like, let's be honest, kiddo, you don't exactly exude work ethic. You don't work that hard. I feel like you could come in half comatose and nobody would notice.
Well, if
And
that's
I'm like,
the case, you can.
I'm in.
There you go.
So yeah, and I have a feeling those days will be coming too with football season. Actually, this Saturday, well, tonight actually, college football starts. Well,
Right.
actually, I guess it started last weekend.
It started last weekend, yeah, with Notre Dame at Navy in Dublin.
Yeah, week 0. And I noticed in your basement, you're a big Notre Dame fan. You got the banner hanging up.
Yeah, last time they won the championship.
Yeah.
My dad used to fly out every year. He had a business connection out.
Oh, nice.
I actually have an autographed picture personalized from Lou Holtz and the Grandpa Leprechaun.
Oh, dude, that's cool.
So
that is very cool. Yeah, for those of you watching maybe for the first time, like we've been doing this competition since WrestleMania. Was that when we started it?
I think we started at Backlash.
Okay.
Because we wanted WrestleMania to be the end all.
Right. Yeah. And so that would be always the climax. Yeah.
Correct. So I guess since we'll predict Payback first.
Yeah, we can do that.
Because that is the first one being on Saturday.
Okay.
And yeah, they only have 6 matches announced.
Yeah, it seems really curious. I feel like there was I remember, gosh, what year was it? Battleground, I want to say 15 or 14. Or maybe it was 15. Someone posted something, wow, that was a great episode of Raw. No, that was a pay-per-view. Oh,
yeah.
Wow, shit.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's how I'm going to feel after watching Payback.
Yeah. Yeah, Payback's going to be just another episode of Monday Night Raw.
It feels like it's just all Monday Night Raw stuff anyway.
It's one SmackDown match.
Yeah, that's really curious. I wonder if they'll announce anything more on SmackDown, for the SmackDown side.
I thought they were going to do the Uso brothers.
So did I.
Because
I still think had they not had this past week with the Wyatt tribute, which kudos to WWE for doing that. This is actually our first episode since the passing of Bray Wyatt, so we should mention something about that.
Right.
But yeah, I think had that not happened, I think that would have been revealed during SmackDown. Like I think it might come out tomorrow.
It might. Yeah, it might. Because supposedly Rikishi is going to be the special referee.
Oh, that would be really cool.
Because they had a graphic. Someone had a graphic of Rikishi up before he's the referee in Pittsburgh. And it had, I guess it was a leaked graphic of the Usos with Rikishi, but now I guess that's not going to happen.
Yeah, because, now they'd have 24 hours to build that match.
Right. And to me, you probably need a little bit bigger to build that match.
In fact, I don't even think that the 1 week and 1 day would have been enough to build that match.
Yeah.
Like this feels like something that they should have been working on, right after SummerSlam. Yeah.
It's just weird timing, so I doubt that match is going to happen.
Yeah, I would doubt that as well.
Gonna have to return it then. My wife just came home and an Amazon package was the wrong thing for her classroom. So.
Oh boy, I imagine. Yeah, my wife's in the mad rush too. She's been in her classroom every day this week.
Yeah,
there right now, getting it ready.
Yeah, Denise went back on Tuesday. So.
Yeah, it's funny. My wife's school is, I guess this year anyway, doing the more the old school traditional way of right after Labor Day.
Right, that's where Philly Public Schools and we're in the Colonial School District.
Yeah.
The kids start the Tuesday after Labor Day, but They always had the teachers coming a week
Oh
before.
yeah.
Yeah.
The teachers
Yeah.
actually, I think could have. Heck, I think. Well, with my wife, she probably could have gotten in there the day after school ended and set up her
Right.
classroom for this year.
Right.
Um, but I think that's been the approach now. The week before they
Yeah.
they bring the teachers back, and then you have the kids come back the next week.
Exactly.
So okay, we're picking Payback.
Payback. Okay. First match listed: Trish and Becky in the cage.
This has got to be Becky, right?
That's how I feel. I feel like
they've already killed off the outsider with what's her name,
Zoe Stark.
Zoe Stark losing the Falls Count Anywhere match.
All right.
So yeah, this has got to be Trish Stratus. This is the big blow off.
Yeah.
Should have been SummerSlam. I don't know why they didn't do it at SummerSlam, but
I'm wondering if they kind of thought maybe we need to bolster the next card up.
perhaps. I just think it's curious. I always think about legacies for like pay-per-views and rivalries.
Yeah.
Like, when we look back at this in like 5 years, I feel like in 5 years, you and I are probably going to be talking about this, and I'm going to assume it was a SummerSlam match, and you're
Right.
going to have to correct me and tell me, no, it was the next month at Payback.
They did it at Payback. They needed to get the streaming numbers up.
Yeah. I feel like they've been trying to get the streaming numbers up since they went to a streaming service for their premium live events.
I think so. Next is the World Heavyweight title match between Rollins and Nakamura.
Okay. This is where I'm trying to read the tea leaves of something being laid out by something Rhea Ripley said with wanting Judgment Day to walk out all holding gold.
Right.
I think that no matter what happens with Rollins Nakamura, in fact, it may even be Rollins retains, I think Damian Priest cashes in and wins the world title.
Okay. So you're calling Rollins.
Rollins to win,
Rollins.
but then I cash in by Damian Priest.
Priest cash in. Okay. I will go with Rollins as well.
Okay.
As much as I want to say Nakamura, I don't think they're going to let him hold the title.
I don't either.
I think they should. I think Triple H is high enough on him that he could, but I think they're trying to establish this new world title.
Yeah, and that's another reason why I have the cash in. I want to make sure, like, to me, it's like when you have the cash in that establishes that title as meaningful.
Right.
Important, because why would somebody cash in when it's not a meaningful championship?
Yep.
So I think that helps. I think that solidifies like what you're saying with Triple H wanting to. So I think we're both saying the same thing. That Triple H wants to really hone in on that world title being important, right. And it's just we're getting there in two different ways.
Yep.
So I like the prediction of Rollins to retain.
Right.
But I also, again, it's the reading the tea leaves. It's like, especially if, and I know we'll predict this match in a minute, the tag team title match, if that doesn't go the way of the Judgment Day.
Right.
Like, then it's just Finn Balor walking out without a championship that night. And then there's more friction in the Judgment Day.
Correct.
Which, by the way, I'm so over that.
Right. Which I guess since we mentioned it, you want to do the tag match next.
Yeah, I think Sammy and Kevin retain.
Okay. So you're saying Sammy and Kevin?
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I think the lackluster Sammy and Kevin reign ends.
And it has been very lackluster. As amazing as their victory at WrestleMania was, that's how lackluster their run has been as a team.
All right. And that, see, it wouldn't surprise me if they do something a little different too.
Mm-hmm.
Because the tag titles are the only titles that have yet to be split.
Right.
So they might have Sammy and Kevin win, but it is a street fight match. So maybe they pull off some sort of shenanigan.
Mm-hmm.
And then JD McDonough and Dom and Rhea all get involved. Somehow the baby faces pull it out. But then it wouldn't surprise me if Priest cashed in on them and they split the Raw titles from the SmackDown titles.
I mean, that'd be cool.
That would be a little caveat to do that if they did that. But either way, I think Judgment Day's. Unfortunately, I think they're going to win Tag Team Gold because it seems like they want the Judgment Day to be the next Bloodline story. They have them all over the place.
Yeah.
It would make sense.
It would. I guess I'm just, and maybe it's me just trying to, maybe they know that there's going to be those smart marks who are going to try to read those tea leaves and see that, oh, now there's an issue. And maybe the next night on Raw, while Finn is maybe having disagreements with the Judgment Day, Finn and JD tag up and they go win the tag titles. And then Finn comes back and says, hey, now every member of Judgment Day is holding gold.
Maybe.
And then, and you still have that weaseling in of JD McDonough trying to play like the Sami Zayn of getting himself into the Judgment Day.
Right. That would work too.
And maybe we could have a build towards a JD McDonough and Damian Priest match for a world title at some point.
Maybe. That would be
if we're going with the direct, they've been compared so much to the Bloodline, that would make sense as far as a way to incorporate, JD McDonough playing the Sami Zayn role. And then it's like Damian Priest and Finn Balor, which one's Roman Reigns and which one's, an Uso or Solo.
Right.
And Dominic, I don't know where you really have him in this whole thing.
He's just a Weasley turd. It's great.
I love it. Yes, but he's definitely a Weasley turd.
Yes.
It's fantastic.
Yes. Well, since we're talking about Judgment Day, we got Rhea against Raquel.
Yeah. Boy, I want to pick Raquel Rodriguez really bad.
Right.
Because I feel like Raquel's got so much momentum and it would make so much sense. But it really kind of reminds me of when at day one a couple of years ago, when Becky Lynch was defending the Raw Women's Championship? I guess it was the Raw Women's Championship.
I guess it was the Raw.
Against Liv Morgan.
Right.
And I felt like, man, the momentum and everything is right for a new champion, but we're not going to pull the trigger here.
Correct.
I think that's what we're getting here. I think we're not.
I think. Yeah.
I think Rhea Ripley.
I think Rhea retains as well.
Yeah. But I think everybody walks away kind of like at the end of that Liv Morgan Becky Lynch match saying, yeah, but if you could buy stock in somebody, you'd want to buy stock in Raquel Rodriguez.
Yeah. I agree with that. And then we got Austin Theory challenging Rey Mysterio for the U.S. title.
In our lone SmackDown match. I feel like I would like Austin Theory to win the title back, but then it kind of feels like, what was the point of Rey even winning it?
Right.
So that's why I'm going to go Rey Mysterio to retain.
Yeah, and I'm going to agree with you with Rey.
Okay.
And then LA Knight against The Miz.
To me, this is the easiest one to predict.
It really is.
Yeah, this has got to be LA Knight.
This has to be. I mean, if they want him to be the next big star, I think it has to be.
I feel like this is one of those things where they're kind of testing the water. Could we be getting ready to see LA Knight win a Royal Rumble?
We might be.
I mean, and to me, that again goes back to you should have pulled the trigger last year with Cody.
They should have, but they didn't.
Yeah.
Now
is Cody doomed to never win that world championship?
I don't know. I think that they're going to have Cody win at WrestleMania. But it's one of those things like, yeah, are they going to, or what are they going to do?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose, especially if, like, in my scenario of Damian Priest cashing in and winning the world title, or in your scenario of Rollins retaining. And I mean, I know it would involve them, whoever walks out of Payback as champion, keeping it until WrestleMania. But if LA Knight were to win the Royal Rumble, you could just have him say he's facing the world champion at WrestleMania, and then Cody wins, say, a match at Elimination Chamber to get a shot at Roman Reigns, and you could be right back to like you could get yourself back on track and still have Knight and either Priest or Rollins main eventing one night, and Roman and Cody the other night.
Right. Now, you know what? I forgot about this until we started talking about the tag titles. Mm-hmm. There's an interesting wrinkle in all this because the Spectacular in India, they've already announced that Sammy and Kevin are defending the titles against Indashir. So now I'm wondering. Should I change it to Sammy and Kevin?
I mean, they're already announcing Indashir challenging for the tag titles, which is they haven't talked about whether or not whether that show's even going to be on TV in America.
Right. I would assume it's going to be based upon the fact that John Cena is going to it.
Yeah, why would John Cena go to wrestle in some house show in India?
Exactly.
I know they can put 1 billion people in that arena. Sorry, everybody. my backing here for my chair is falling apart on me.
It happens.
Yeah. That's the beauty of being live.
That it is.
So, yeah, I wonder why would you put John Cena... Which, by the way, I'm very excited for SmackDown tomorrow night to get to see John Cena, see who's going to step up to challenge him. Because I don't want to see Cena and Roman Reigns again.
No.
I don't want to see Austin Theory again.
No.
I mean, Grayson Waller?
That's who I think it's going to be.
Yeah.
I think in India it'll be Grayson Waller and John Cena.
Which I'm fine with.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, that'll be good.
And the fact that we're going to have John Cena back in WWE for a couple months.
That's pretty exciting.
That's excitement to the.
That's got to be a shot in the arm.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, you got this SAG strike going on, so you know what? Bring them back.
Well, I love it, and if that's the case, can they strike all the way to WrestleMania?
Exactly. That's how I feel. Let's let Cena and back in, and who knows? Maybe even The Rock might have some time. You don't know with the strike.
Woo, that would be something.
And I'm ready for it.
Yeah, wow. Talk about a crazy byproduct of that strike.
Yeah.
You could get The Rock and you could get John Cena back in WWE rings. I mean, like,
at the same time.
Yeah.
The product would take off again.
A Survivor Series of, like, I don't know, Austin and The Rock, or Austin and The Rock, Cena and The Rock versus Roman and Solo Sikoa at Survivor Series. Yeah. That would be insane.
That would be. That it would be.
I mean, although you could just do Rock versus Roman at Survivor Series.
And I'd be happy with that.
I'd be ecstatic. I mean, people underestimate. You forget The Rock's debut was at Madison Square Garden at Survivor Series.
Yep. So it wouldn't be a bad thing. And it's in Chicago, so that's going to be a fever pitch.
Oh, yeah. They have such a great crowd in Chicago anyway.
Right. So, no, I'm down for it.
Yeah.
And speaking of Chicago, that's where All Out.
Yeah.
I didn't even mean to have a segue like that, but hey,
Yeah, I was about to say, just for anybody watching, those of us who have been to sports media classes and sports talk radio, that's what we call a segue.
right.
And so we're gonna segue right into All Out
All out.
This Sunday in Chicago.
So Sunday in Chicago, we got 9 luxurious matches here.
All right.
All right. Might as well start with the first one that was announced, the TNT Championship. Luchasaurus and Darby Allin.
Well, it's All Out. Like it's an important show. It seems to be when they like to do big time title changes. And like you said, it was the first one announced. They did a match to qualify for a championship match, which to me always suggests that the winner of that, like, they've got a lot of momentum, so they're probably winning the match.
Right.
So I'll go Darby Allin.
I'm going to go Darby as well. I think after that's the match you won. Also, is the coffin match.
Yeah.
Because I thought, we're going to write Sting off, and they're going to shove. No, they shoved Swerve in the coffin. So,
yeah,
that was the other match.
I thought that would have been good had they put Sting in there.
I thought they should have, so this way Darby would have to do it alone. But
yeah,
now if Christian gets his chicanery going, we know Sting will be there. So yeah, definitely going to be Darby. Yeah. I think. The next match announced was Miro against Powerhouse Hobbs.
Gosh, how could I express how little interest I have in this match? You know what? I'll go with the guy who's actually been on TV more and been doing more. I'll go Powerhouse.
Okay. Powerhouse. You know what? To try to make up a point, because it's a nothing match, I'm going to go Miro.
You might as well. You got to take some swings. Yeah.
Might as well. Next up we have is Chris Statlander defending the TBS title against Ruby Soho.
Ooh. So if Ruby wins, then both Ruby and Saraya will have women's championships.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I think Ruby wins.
Ruby, okay.
Yeah. Because I think that really builds then the drama between them and the two of them and Tony Storm.
Right. It definitely will build drama. I want to go Ruby, but something's telling me that there might be that drama build up in the match. It's going to go wonky, and it's going to cost Ruby. And because Statlander just came back from injury at Double or Nothing.
Or Double or Nothing, yeah.
So I feel like
TBS championship, yeah.
I feel like she needs a little bit of a longer reign with it. So I'm going to go with Chris.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, clearly what they've done with the TBS championship is just make it a long reigning title for whoever has it.
Right, yeah. Because, we had that Jade Cargill reign forever that was horrible. And
oh, God, it was brutal.
Now, the next two on the list, I'm going to skip because I think one of them might be the main event.
Okay.
We got the 8-man tag between Bullet Club Gold and versus FTR and the Young Bucks.
Yeah. Gosh, as much as I'd love to see Bullet Club Gold kind of, build towards some more, like maybe have the Guns challenging FTR for the tag titles at some point.
Yeah.
Like as much as I want that, like this kind of feels like you had the Bucks job out at All In.
Right.
I feel like the Bucks have to go over at All Out, so I'll go Bucks and FTR.
I'll go that team too. I don't see how they're going to have those four job out to Bullet Club Gold.
Nah.
I mean, Bullet Club Gold did pick up a nice victory in All In too.
Yeah.
So I don't see it as back-to-back wins for them.
No, I don't either. I think this just screams, FTR Young Bucks.
FTR.
Follow the money in this one.
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Next up involves a spoiler for Rampage because it's the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championship match between Better Than You, Baby. And it's going to be a tag team battle royal air tomorrow on Rampage, but we know the Dark Order team of John Reynolds or Alex Reynolds and John Silver.
Oh, okay.
Are going to challenge Better Than You.
Oh, wow. I really thought that was going to be surprise team of Mike Bennett and Matt Taven. But
that's what I thought too.
Yeah.
Especially towards the end of All In when you saw Roddy Strong with the Kingdom at the end.
Right. And then if you saw Dynamite last night, I've only watched the first hour because, like I said, I usually watch Dynamite the next day.
Right.
I'm usually a day behind on everything.
Right.
And so, I've watched about the first hour of Dynamite, and I saw their little segment. And I really thought, man, this has got to build towards the Kingdom challenging Better Than You, Baby.
Right.
The ROH tag titles.
And that would have made a lot more sense.
And I still think they might at some point, but maybe if they do, aren't they going to do 2 nights of the Arthur Ashe?
Yes, they usually do.
Okay. Because I figure one of those weeks, MJF will defend the World Championship, and maybe the other week they'll defend the ROH tag titles.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll be against the Kingdom.
Well, usually they do Rampage. They do a 4-hour taping, and they do a big Rampage. It wouldn't surprise me if they do Collision there.
That'd be pretty good.
They try to get it 2 nights. So.
Yeah. I gotta wonder at what point we're gonna have the MJF CM Punk showdown. I thought that might happen at All Out, but it is not.
It is not going to happen because we have problems again.
Oh yeah, with the Jungle Boy.
Yeah. So who knows?
Supposedly, there's footage of that confrontation somewhere.
I'm a super busy man right now between doing this, starting my Whatnot channel up, doing really well with that. And then this last night, I'd missed Dynamite because I was doing a soccer draft for Sean's league. So, getting all that done because I'm the division coordinator, which is not a fun job sometimes. It's great. The first Saturday, the kids go on the field, they're smiling, they're happy. That's the great feeling of the job.
Yeah.
When you see the kids happy. But it's the part of the parental emails of my son's busy. What night is this? I don't know. We had to draft the teams. We'll let you know. It's always the adults that are the pain.
Yeah, it's funny. The kids, I feel like you could just wake them up that morning and be like, "Hey, kiddo, you got a game today. Cool, let's go."
Yeah, it's always the adults.
Yeah.
So after that little side note, I'm going with the champs. I think they're going to retain against the Dark Order team.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, I think that they are going to retain, and it'll be interesting to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, and again, I gotta believe we're gonna build towards that Better Than You versus the Kingdom.
Yeah,
maybe at Arthur Ashe.
Maybe. Then we have the Ring of Honor World Title match, World Television Title match. Excuse me. Samoa Joe against Shane Taylor.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
that's gonna be this Sunday. That's awesome.
They're putting it on.
Gosh, I guess I'll go Samoa Joe.
Okay.
Although I would like to see him drop the TV title at some point pretty soon.
I would too, and you know what? Why not to Shane Taylor?
Yeah.
Give him his moment. I'm going to go Shane on this one.
Okay.
I think it would be a nice moment for Shane.
Yeah.
Because one of my biggest things is Samoa Joe's always on Collision now.
Mm-hmm.
And I know they tape Ring of Honor with Collision, so it's really no big deal at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But Shane's always on Ring of Honor. He's a Ring of Honor guy. Why not have the television title at least on a Ring of Honor guy?
Yeah, I'm a big proponent of having championships on guys that are just there.
Because if you look at it right now, Claudio's got the Ring of Honor World title.
Mm-hmm.
Joe's got the television title. Now we have Adam Cole and MJF as their tag champs.
Yeah, when are they even going to show up to a Ring of Honor taping?
That's the question.
You know, it's funny. You mentioned the idea of having Collision at Arthur Ashe. I wonder if we'll have an ROH taping at Arthur Ashe.
I think they would.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense.
It would. And speaking of Ring of Honor World Champion,
mm-hmm.
He's in a tag team match.
So we have the ROH television title on the line at All Out, but we don't have the world title and we don't have the ROH world title on the line.
Correct. Because we have the Blackpool Combat Club of Claudio and Yuta against Eddie Kingston and Shibata.
Okay, against the ROH Pure Champion.
Right.
And the New Japan Strong Style Champion.
Correct.
Well, so we've got the Pure Champion and the World Champion on opposite sides of the tag match. That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
So we could see that confrontation at some point. And I imagine we will.
Yeah. So it's like, what are they going to do with this one? I'm leaning towards Shibata and Kingston.
Yeah, I think I am too.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, I think that might be because since Eddie came back, they're really pumping him up. So
yeah, and they're pumping up this confrontation between Eddie Kingston and Claudio Castagnoli, which I know they met at Supercard.
Yes,
but I gotta believe they're gonna meet again sometime soon for the ROH World Title.
For the ROH title, yeah, I think so. And then the two matches I skipped. It wouldn't surprise me if either one of these is the main event. And that is the International Championship match of Orange Cassidy and Jon Moxley.
Okay.
And then Omega versus Takashi.
Okay.
I think one of them's going to main event the show.
Yeah. I guess, all right, I'll just rapid fire. I'll pick both. I think Orange Cassidy just always finds a way to freaking win. I've been trying to predict a time for him to lose the international title, and I've just decided like he's going to be that champion forever. So I'll go Orange Cassidy.
Okay.
And I'll go Kenny Omega in the other one.
Okay.
Yeah, Takeshita.
Yeah, I'm thinking, is it time that Orange loses this title?
Oh, positively, it is. Yeah.
But it's like Tony Khan has said, like, Orange Cassidy's his favorite wrestler, and Orange has pinned Yuta and he's pinned Claudio. Does he get the pin on the final member of the BCC?
That's why I'm predicting he will. To me, I like Orange Cassidy. This is going to sound like I'm going to bury him, but this is where you got to know what certain acts are.
Right.
Like Orange Cassidy's act, while it's very entertaining and like the fans have gotten behind it, dude, it's an R-Truth level act.
It really is. It really is. And
again, all due respect to R-Truth as well, and Orange Cassidy,
but yeah, you know what?
That's mid-card guys. Like, that's what
they are. And I'm going to go Moxley.
Okay.
I'm going to go Moxley. There's got to be a point in which this title gets off of Orange. I thought it was going to be Double J a while ago, but he declined the title. So I'm going to go with Mox on this.
Okay.
Only because that Stadium Stampede match, which we haven't talked about, how we were...
It was disgraceful.
There's no need for all that violence. I think something's going to happen, and
somebody's going to die in the ring doing what they're doing. And,
yes.
And they're going to be like, oh, God, we just never had any idea something like this. Really?
Yeah.
Like, really? When Mox brings out freaking bamboo sticks and they're sticking out of his head.
Right.
Like, you're at that point, man, like you're begging kids to say, hey, go try this at home and go kill your buddy.
Right.
Are you kidding me?
It was tasteless, I thought.
Yeah.
The three of us, because my friend Scott was with us.
Yeah.
Are old, pure wrestling fans, and there's no need for bamboo skewers all over the place. And
to me, it's like, and I know I said it on Sunday when we were watching, I said, every match is supposed to tell some kind of story. What story are you telling with that?
The story they told is Orange Cassidy could come back from anything.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm perfectly convinced you could freaking take a 45, blow his brains out, and he'd still somehow kick out. Like, Jesus.
It's unbelievable, but I think maybe they're finally going to have him lose to Mox.
By the way, everybody, I'm kidding. I am not condoning the idea of shooting a wrestler in the ring.
Correct.
That is a dumb idea. I
Very dumb.
hope nobody ever thinks
that. It is a wrestling analogy that kind of works because we've seen it all at this point. It seems.
Yeah.
And
I mean, we watched Orange Cassidy. I like at one point I thought, oh my God, they just killed the man in the ring.
And then he got the pinfall.
Yeah.
He taped his fist up and hit Claudio with the glass fist. I mean, it was just extremely barbaric for no reason. I'm
all about, like, if you gotta get barbaric, I'm okay when it's for something.
Right.
Like, what did anybody achieve? Like, who got over from that match? Like, who moved up the ladder? Who, like, ascended in their story as a result of that match?
Really, no one.
Exactly.
It was just like...
It was violence just for violence sake, and that's stupid.
You know, we use a term, I use it, and I think it works perfectly here. Mm-hmm. It was just a clusterfuck of violence.
Yeah.
It was unnecessary. It was all over the place. It's just one of those things. They do it too much now in AEW with these stadium stampedes and the...
And I gotta believe, and as much as I like him as a performer, this is Jon Moxley. This is Jon Moxley written all over it. He, like, wrote out this match. He scripted this match and said, this is what we're going to do. Tony Khan just green lights whatever Moxley says. And, like, if I'm Tony Khan, like, did you even read what Moxley wrote up for this match? Like,
right. It was nuts. Unnecessarily nuts. And then I will also take Kenny Omega against Takeshita.
Yeah.
I think, see, when we were making our picks, I originally picked Takeshita and Bullet Club Gold, but then I switched it because I didn't think Kenny was going to job out in London. It's not going to happen 2 weeks in a row. This is the revenge.
No.
So this is the revenge, I think.
I agree. And I think the only reason that Kenny maybe would have agreed to job out in London is if he's told, well, whoever wins in London is losing the next week.
Right.
And so I think that's when Kenny said, well, I'll just lose in London and then I'll come back and win in Chicago.
Right. Yeah. Which makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, knowing that you're coming right back with them the next week, that does make sense why they would
Mm.
have him lose. And again, that was a good swerve.
It
Like,
was.
and speaking of swerves, like we haven't even talked about the AEW World Championship match, which we had our expectations for that match, and I thought they were pretty high.
Right.
That match blew away my expectations.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I was sitting there at one point, literally breathless.
Yeah. I was just trying to figure out, like, because we all thought that there was going to be a big swerve at the end.
Yeah.
We didn't get the swerve that we all thought we were going to
No,
get.
we didn't.
No, we didn't. And I was fine with it. Thought everything
Yeah.
went great with it.
And if you remember, I said to you, wow, is it funny that with the way we're all jaded as fans, the biggest swerve was that there was no swerve.
That it was.
And it was really beautifully done. Like, I can now imagine again, after I know I've mentioned several times how much I've been listening to the Bruce Pritchard podcast.
Yes.
And he says all the time, he's like, man, he's like, what happens is when they're all sitting around the room and nobody's sitting there saying, like, oh, well, I want this guy to go over. I want this guy to go over. Somebody just sits there and says, what if this happened? What if we had these two guys, MJF, who is the biggest asshole in the business, and what if him and Adam Cole are forced to team together? And then what if an actual friendship is spurned from this?
Right.
And then they agree to do this match at All In, biggest main event in wrestling history. And then everybody's expecting, oh, well, MJF, he's the biggest asshole. He's got to do a swerve on Adam Cole.
Right.
Hey, everybody would see that coming. What if Adam Cole and Roderick Strong are playing MJF this whole time? Maybe it's a big swerve on MJF.
And
then they say, but what if instead of doing any of that, we just have a nice clean match?
And it surprised everybody.
Yeah. And you have it end with a small package after Adam Cole doesn't go for the hitting him with the belt.
Right. That was just the clean, very nice way to end that match.
Yeah. That was definitely, brilliant minds at work putting together that match.
Yes, it was.
And then at the end, when, MJF, and what a cool moment that was. Well, and man, it really makes you feel really good for MJF.
Right.
When he does the whole, oh, that match could have gone either way. And we still got the ROH titles, and he throws the belt down. He's clearly disgusted and frustrated, as anybody would be.
Yeah.
And then that's when MJF starts thinking, oh, man, you don't care about those? You never really cared about me.
Right. And
then when Cole, and you could tell, man, it's right out of when they failed to win the tag titles.
Yep.
And when Adam Cole turns his back and says, do what you got to do.
Yep. And it works.
Man, it was, whoever wrote that was absolutely brilliant.
It was. That it was.
But yeah, I agree with your assessment on the matches that could be the main event.
Yeah.
If I were booking it, it would probably be Kenny and Takeshita.
I think
my main event.
I think that makes the most sense.
Yeah.
With the neither world title being on the line, that's the most personal rivalry, and I can even see Jericho getting involved because he's had some issues with Don Callis as well.
Right. Yeah, and Sammy Guevara with.
Yeah.
Now, do you think we're getting ready to, having watched? Again, like I said, I watched the first hour of Dynamite. Do you think we're getting ready to have a turn between Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara?
I think it's going to happen soon.
Yeah.
I could see those two having a one-on-one rivalry because
whether that starts at like Wembley or at the next AEW pay per view.
I think Guevara's close to being that top tier
Right.
talent. He showed it in the 4-way match, but I think he needs that huge feud behind him to get him to that level. And I think that's where Jericho at this stage in his career, like we said, he can lose for the next 2 years and it wouldn't impact him.
Right, and which is why I know we each predicted Ospreay beat him, and he did.
Yeah. Yep. So
yeah, and I could see like if you put Guevara in that spot. Actually, I think what would make the most sense would be if Guevara and Jericho have a match and Jericho beats him the first time to set up a rematch where Guevara eventually slays the giant there.
Exactly. Yep.
All right, we're coming up on an hour. Have we predicted the whole show?
I guess. Yeah, we predicted all the shows.
Okay.
So, I got to get making dinner in a minute.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure out what we're doing for dinner because, like I said, my wife's at school still setting up her classroom.
Yeah,
he's trying to make room for a trip down the shore this weekend. And so.
Yeah, because I got pulled pork in the crock pot. I just had to go make some mac and cheese at this point.
Nice. Well, I can be over in 20 minutes now.
Yeah, you could. That you could.
I have food. I'll fend for myself. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Yes, because we do have plenty because I do a lot of food shopping at BJ's, so I always have plenty of leftovers.
Yeah, BJ's is phenomenal. Me and my wife go there.
I used to work for that company, so
okay.
Not much fun to work for, but
great to shop at.
BJ's. Yeah. You remember when Daddy worked there? So.
Well, all right. I guess that'll about do it for us. Just like I've been teasing it a couple of weeks now. We will be revealing probably. Side note before I get into that, next week, no show. Wednesday night, I have a fantasy football draft.
Okay.
And then Thursday night is, of course, the national opener. I will, at that point, be about 10 sheets to the wind as I'm watching NFL football for the first time since that bad game I don't like to talk about.
Oh, that Super Bowl. That's right. Yeah. Stung.
Yeah, that stung.
Yeah.
Which is, again, on a side note, on Saturday last week, one buddy says to me while I'm drunk at Beer Olympics, says to me, Eric, would you watch the Super Bowl highlights with me? And I'm just like, dude, I haven't watched any of it since it happened. So I did. And again, I reacted as you would expect.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that will be the game that haunts me. Like, yeah, everybody has one that's like a good memory that they hold on to. Mine will be Super Bowl 52. The bad one that haunts them, mine will be last year.
Yeah. Yep, that it will be.
All right, everybody, have a great night. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. I don't quite know where to go after that conversation.
I don't know either. The game that will haunt you forever.
Yeah. So everybody have fun sleeping tonight.
Eric will have nightmares at the Super Bowl.
Yeah. That'll be my night. Everybody have a great night. Thanks for joining us. Happy wrestling, everybody.